People is pleased to present 40 Days 40 Fintechs, an initiative under its Include Everyone program, as it continues to lead the way in advocacy for the creation and dissemination of technology that enables financial inclusivity. The 40 Days 40 Fintechs is shining a spotlight on those that are breaking down digital barriers and bringing millions more on the continent into the transactional space and transforming their lives for the better.
My name is Moses Abindabizemu. I'm the Group Chief Marketing Officer for Sailland. Cellulant is a pan-African payments company. It operates in over 35 countries in Africa. We offer locally relevant payment methods for global, regional, and local merchants across Africa. Now, the way to think about what we do is that we connect businesses and enable them to collect and pay out their customers. So if you have any business and you want to collect from your customers, or you want to pay out to your customers, could be salaries, could be wages, could be anything that you want to pay your customers for, we make that possible across Africa. So we have a payment gateway called Ting, and that payment gateway has capabilities that enable businesses to easily connect to us and integrate to our payment platform, and they're able now to offer that payment option to their customers for collections and payouts and in any kind of sector. And we've done that for over now almost 2 decades for many sectors: airlines, subscription businesses, ride-hailing, travel. And when you think about like airlines, we have I think over 80% market share in the airline space. We power payments for Emirates, for Kenya Airways, for Jumbo Jet, for Ethiopian Airlines. When you go into e-commerce, we are powering payments for the likes of Jumia, Kiku, Glovo. When you think about subscription businesses, we offer our payment solution to the likes of MultiChoice, StarTimes, Zuku. We go further to even in-country businesses like National Water. If you want to pay your bills, you want to pay for your power, your meme, we do that across all our businesses, African countries where we are present. So we ensure that we have this payment platform that can connect businesses and enable them to have their customers pay them, but they can also pay their customers in case they want to pay them for anything, and do that across Africa. Ideally, our payment platform and the integrations we've done to banks and card schemes and mobile money companies gives us access to over 220 million consumers across Africa. Now with that and the businesses we are powering so far, we have mainly been powering large enterprise businesses. I've given examples of the likes of the big airlines, etc. So we have over 300 large such customers. We call them enterprise customers. We have started now acquiring a few SMB businesses, slightly over 2,000 now. And annually now we are processing over $15 billion US. We do over about close to 300 million transactions per year. And so you can imagine with that scale across Africa, and we're just the beginning. And we've seen our growth rate in terms of GPV, in terms of number of transactions, growing in the ranges of 50, 80% year on year. So we continue to grow, we continue to scale. And in Uganda in particular, we are scaling our propositions to banks and to merchants to make sure that now we can offer our solution to retail businesses that cannot have the capacity, perhaps have strong IT systems, etc. So we're increasing that scale, and we expect that into 2022 we'll be processing, I think, close to over 400 to 500 million transactions per year. And in terms of turnover, we should be crossing over $25 to $30 billion in payment processing. So when you think about a startup, the way we think about them is that what problems do they experience when they're starting up? First of all, they don't have sufficient funding. When they don't have sufficient funding, then they do not have capability to set up a business the way almost big businesses set up, where you have to set up an IT platform, you set up your website. After setting up your website, you have to go to the MNO if you want to collect online. You have to go to Airtel, you go to MTN, you go to Bank X, Bank B, Bank. Then you go to look for Visa, MasterCard. Chances that you don't know them or they don't even know you. You understand? Because you're just starting up. Perhaps you don't even know where to start from. So that's one of the fundamental problems we notice, that when people are starting up, they don't know how they can collect online. They think it's even not possible because it will be a big hassle for them to go out and look for those payment options. So when you come to us, we give you all those at once. You don't need any IT knowledge. You don't need to do any IT infrastructure. You don't have to set up anything. We just give you a platform, which all you need on your phone is just, we get your KYC, and then we set you up. We give you a code, give you a merchant code, and you can start transacting immediately. In case you've developed a website using perhaps one of the website developers, we can give them our APIs, and that the developer can connect to our platform. And then all our payment options that I've talked about are exposed to your website. You understand? So you don't need to be so techy, right? The reporting platform I've given you can access on your phone, like on the Ting Business app. You understand? So you just go and download the app, and then you start getting all your reports. You don't have the money to pay for an accounting software at that point in time. You understand? So we bridge that gap for them to make sure they do not have to hassle to start off. Number two. Number three, one of the reasons small businesses do not last long or they don't even reach their 5th anniversary is that they do not have a very good grasp of financial discipline sometimes. And one of the causes of that is ability to have a good structured report that gives you whether you're making profit or loss. And because remember, if everything is cash, if you think about it, chances are that the shop attendant you've hired is going to perhaps declare maybe only 80% of what you've collected. There may not be transparency. You set up your goods that you're going to sell your good at 10,000 Uganda shillings. But in actual sense, she has sold it at perhaps 12,000. You will never see that because you're purely relying on cash. Now, once you adopt our payment platform, which is Ting, now you're able to get every report, even when it's your side hustle in your office, you can have it on your phone and see how your shop is doing. And all you need to do, tell your shop attendant that every payment should happen digitally. I don't want cash in my shop. Let my customers start coming and paying digitally. Now you're able to get that foundational report. Money is going into your preferred bank account the next day. So you're able to get a good account statement. 1 year down the road, if you go to a bank and say you want additional credits to increase your business from one shop to perhaps 2 shops or 3 shops, there's that entire track record of your payment and your transactions, and they can be able to advance credits to you. We find that that is one of the biggest values that we can give to startups to scale up. So you don't have to invest in, we let you worry about how to attract customers. What we do is that we make sure you have a very good financial reporting framework. We do collections for you. We settle you. Your money is always safe. We don't have to wait for settlement from payment method A, B, C, who are settling at different times. All the money we collected settles to your one bank account. That we find is valuable for businesses. They can access more credit. They have the business reporting, which most people don't have. Then you can be able to decide whether you want to increase your business from 1 shop to 2 to 3 or 4 based on that transaction record. That's the biggest value we give to startups. Women are the majority to begin with. And I think if in Uganda, to be specific, I do not think women are what they were 20 years ago. First of all, they have more exposure, they are more educated, they have the capabilities and the experience that even men have. Now, if you find like in our Uganda office here, I think more than 50% of our staff are women. But the reason we went even further to move from just payments online to payments offline was that majority of women are operating physical businesses. Majority of them. If you think of, if you reach any store, you'll find most of them are women. If you enter most of the shops, majority are women. You understand? Whereas some of their husbands are doing other businesses, for them they are in some shops operating their businesses. So we give them a simple to use USD platform to make sure they can be able to operate their business with confidence, convenience, and they can get clear reports. I know interesting women are more organized. They adopt the system better, they understand it better. So we ensure that we do not focus on high-tech solutions, but also on the ground, realistic, non-smartphone based solutions that can be applicable for even women themselves to use. Because the majority of them, we find them on retail, like the underserved women. If you think of farmers, if you think of in your markets, majority are women. They can use our platform for collections. Customers can pay them. They can have their report. They don't need a smartphone to get a report. You understand? So that is the way we are ensuring that everything we do touches almost everyone at every level, both on the ground, but also on the high-tech e-commerce, high-level digitized category. One of the most important things that we care about is that, remember, we are digital, we are fintech. And as a fintech, you think about convenience first. You're solving a fundamental problem. So the things that we think about are aligned with what does a consumer need? What does a business need? And therefore, how do we integrate their needs into the principles of our operation? When you think about tiered KYC, for example, the advantage is that because we connect to payment methods, banks, MNOs, etc., we adopt their already set thresholds. So their transaction limits for mobile money are what they are. We adopt that. We just align to their already set transaction thresholds. But things like real-time funds transfer, that's initially what we do. When you use our platform, like for example for payouts, and you click one button, money will reach the account in the next minute, like close to real time. That's what we live and breathe and do every single day. Settlement is one of the biggest challenges in terms of timely settlement. What the expectation of a small business is that, can I get my money the same day? But remember, when we are collecting money from, let's say, MTN or Airtel, MTN needs to pay us. The money goes to MTN, then MTN needs to pay us. Sometimes that can take a day or 2 or 3 based on different settlement agreements that we've set with them. But what we've ensured that we do, that by default, for example, collections that were up to midnight last night, by midday today, the money is in their accounts, in people's accounts. That's what we've ensured today, that whatever we collect yesterday, across all our businesses, by midday today, so within under 24 hours, your money is in your account. So that is almost close to same-day settlement, because if you collect it at midnight, all the collections that happened yesterday are reaching the account before midday today. That's one of the biggest things we ensured was relevant. If you think about pricing transparency, every time we integrate our payment platform, as a customer, if a customer is making the payment himself, or it's a merchant paying us, we indicate how much our charge is. So we do not hide it within the payment. It is as transparent as possible. You can know what you're paying for. And the biggest opportunity we've seen is that because businesses see the value that we provide, and our pricing is not necessarily way off the industry mark. It's in the ranges of between 1.5 to 2.5% based on the size of the business. We find that businesses adopt and accept to shoulder that charge. So finally, customers don't pay. So business says, you know what, let me take that charge. My customers shouldn't pay, because the business is benefiting more from value adds that we give him, like that reporting platform, ease of convenience, no more fraud at their shop, because they don't need to have cash in the shop. So we give them that convenience, and they show the cost, but we give them that transparency from the word go. I think what can be done to make this industry better is, first of all, appreciating that we can win together. We need to collaborate. Not one person can do everything. There are some things, for example, Sailland is very good with payments. Think payments, think us. But someone could have a solution around reconciliation, settlement, tooling. Someone has a loan product, etc. We can connect and integrate and be together. And now we can take a uniform solution to a business. So it doesn't have to go to connect to 10 businesses or 10 fintechs to get one solution. We can work together, and that way you find that we come to you and you have one-stop solution for every need that almost every need that you have as a business. So first is collaboration, and then getting synergies to drive common growth. The second one is continuous awareness. People need to be aware of what they're missing out. Like, you don't know that if you left your home with 50,000 Uganda shillings in your pocket, the chances of that money going back with you at home is extremely slim. Either it can be stolen from you, or it can be misused. When you spend it, it goes away. But when you start adopting digital payments, for example, you're 100% sure that you're paying for the things that you really need at your level of convenience. People need to be aware that cash is going to be normal. There are countries where people spend a month or almost a year without touching a note. Now, those businesses, those countries operate at a different scale. So we need to continue to drive awareness. The final part is identifying perhaps talent that can be introduced to different fintechs to help them build a business that can scale. Because the fundamental problem is that you don't want a fintech to start and then 2-3 years down the road and they cannot operate. Why? Because they've not had a good experience to run a fintech for a long period of time. They don't have the support, they don't have the technical know-how, they're figuring things out. But if you together come up and build some talents together, and you know that you go to Makerere here, you go to any big university, and then you identify all the top talents, train them. We have a lot of knowledge and capabilities amongst ourselves. We can train them next time and place these talents, and they can make these businesses thrive over time. I think if we implement those 3 things, we could be a completely different industry thereafter. So that is how we integrate our level 1 project principle in our project management structure. Uganda is amazing with opportunity. Fintech is still so young in Uganda. Digitalization is still below 20%. The opportunities are extremely immense. The way you think about it, that today, how many things are you still doing manually? If you find that you're still carrying cash in your pocket, that means there's so much opportunity of digitalization that you've not solved. If you think about your shopping experience, why are you still working at a supermarket? That means there's an opportunity we've not addressed. If you find that today, more than 80% of the things you do are manual, from shopping to ordering things online to your transport, how do you access your transport, how you pay your school fees. If you find that you have to walk to a bank to pay for your school fees, if you find that there are so many things you do every day that we can build convenience for. And that is an opportunity. There are problems which are not fixed today in Uganda, extremely so many, that when you zoom into the next 4, 5, 6, 10 years, any company that comes to solve these fundamental problems in Uganda will thrive. Like, fintech in Uganda is still so young, the opportunity is still so large, that by the time we move from payment digitization of less than 20% to 50-80%, then that's when you see real digitization. That's when you see real value. That's when you see opportunities, how opportunities have mushroomed to multi-billion businesses. So that's the way to look at it. The opportunity is extremely so large. I think any business should come out, identify all the problems that exist, and try to create a digital solution around them, because people really are ready to pay for convenience, because it's extremely valuable. Time is money. The time it takes for you to move from place A to place B to do an activity, if you can solve it by doing it online, then you've saved a lot of time, a lot of money. You're ready to pay for that service, if you think about it. So that is, I see that Uganda is still so young. Below 20% digitization and payments, then you notice that the opportunity is extremely immense. If you think about 80% of the population is into agriculture, right? How much of agriculture have we digitized? You find there's so much food that gets rotten in gardens. And yet, there's a manufacturer here who is producing at half capacity. they can't access these goods. Why? Because there's no one who has connected them to the farmer. The farmer doesn't know who to sell to. The manufacturer doesn't know who to buy from. That's an opportunity, if you think about it. Prices are extremely not standard. If you go to my village in Chiruhura, you will find that the price of milk there is not the same price compared to another place in Nakasongola, other place in Ntungamo. Yet all that milk comes to Kampala. And the price is extremely almost 3 times in Kampala. So someone can go and digitize that flow, that value chain. And that's a big opportunity. 40 Days 40 Fintech, I see it as a very powerful platform for Uganda to see their potential, first of all. The way I see it is that not many people know that solutions exist. Some people perhaps are struggling with needs, not knowing someone has already gone a step ahead to solve those needs. So I think 40 Days 40 Fintech creates an opportunity for people to discover that, oh, I've been struggling with this problem of collections for my business. I've been struggling with fraud in my shop. I don't know how to solve it. I've been struggling with reporting. I've been struggling with getting credit from a bank. I don't know how to do it. But now you know that Sailland can give you collections, can give you a report, can help you do payouts, can ensure that your payments are done in your bank account the next day or your mobile money wallet the next day, and therefore can give you a report at the end of the year or the month. You give it a bank and they can give you a loan based on that kind of reporting. Maybe you didn't know. Now that you know, chances are that you start now to think different about your problem. Say, oh, someone at least now has solved my problem. So I think this is a fundamental platform that gives, the 40 Days 40 Fintech is a fundamental platform that gives Ugandans generally and businesses and people to notice and understand that actually people have thought about their needs and they have solved them, and they can tap into those opportunities and help themselves. So Cellulant, as I've mentioned, is operating in 35 African countries. We have offices in 18. So you can find us online and dial ting.africa, ting.africa, and then you connect to us, and then we'll reach out to you, and then we start doing business together.
40 Days 40 Fintechs is presented in proud partnership with Cross-Leg Technologies, Modus Box, Modular Foundation, and Level 1 Projects.